voter transparency and the ballot counting is, I know Jack Ciattarelli's campaign put out a statement about
Yeah,
this. What's kind of your 2 cents on that? Because I know it's a big issue being talked
yeah.
about in the media circle and
Yep,
the
yep.
academic circle. So what's your
I'm,
2 cents on
glad
that?
you asked, and I have strong feelings on it because, as you know, because you've been following it, I put a lot of time into um, trying to help people from the beginning of this cycle understand exactly where the votes were coming from. And the reason I put a lot of hours into that and pushed myself on the analytics of that is because precisely because I think it hurts people and it hurts our credibility and our confidence in the election process if we do have the perception, oh, look, we just found all these votes. No, that's not at all what's going on. What's going on is people are voting on the exact same timetable that everybody else is. They're following the rules, they're doing everything right. The question is when those votes get counted, not when those votes are cast. They're cast to everybody else along with everybody else. So I think it's important to see, if you can see from day one, this is where the votes are coming from, then it helps you say, all right, this didn't just get manufactured. This didn't just come out of nowhere. So I think transparency is very important right now in a time when everybody's sensitivity is heightened to the potential or the allegations of voter fraud. I think that it's really important right now to show exactly where the votes are coming from, because voter fraud is very unusual. It's very unlikely. We have a system that we can have a lot of confidence in. Jack Ciattarelli said so before the election, much to his credit. He wanted his voters to understand they could have confidence voting by mail, they could have confidence voting in person, they could have confidence voting on election day. So yes, I do think it's absolutely important that we know we have three types of votes right now. We have election day votes, we have early votes in person, and we have mail-in ballots. It's important to know how many are coming in, where they're coming from, and when they're in the count, when they're being counted. And that was really the problem on election night. On election night, it looked like the race was a lot closer than where it actually wound up. On election night, it looked like Phil Murphy had maybe a 20,000 vote lead. It wound up that he's going to wind up somewhere around 85,000 votes. I don't think it did anybody a service that we didn't have a clear picture of that. And we could have a clearer picture of that if we knew where the votes were coming from and if we could get more of those votes counted. So I think it's important to give the counties more time to count the votes, which they didn't have this year. I think we're going to need to give them more time to count the votes. And if we, the observers, can have a sense of which votes are being counted, which ones are still left to be counted, then we can more accurately tell voters and tell our readers and our listeners and our watchers, viewers, you can say, okay, well, yes, it looks like Jack is doing really well here, but that's because disproportionately right now, we're looking at election day votes, and he did better on election day votes than he did on mail-in votes. So let's hold our powder here, and let's wait till we get the vote by mail ballots in here, and then we can have a more accurate picture of what's going on. So I think those are the kinds of things that need to happen so that we can adjust everybody's expectations as carefully as we can.